Today, I want to share with you on the investment opportunities in green technology industry. So this is my presentation outline. Before I explain in details on what are the promoted activities and incentives offered for these activities, I will bring you very briefly on the MEIDA's background. Okay, for those who don't know who is MEIDA, MEIDA was formerly known as Malaysian Industrial Development Authority, and MEIDA was established in 1967. Okay, we are first point of contact. We are so one-stop center for investors who plan to set up manufacturing and services project in Malaysia. So this is because the government had given a task to MEIDA to promote and coordinate the industrial coordination activity in Malaysia. Okay, in 2004, the government has mandated MEIDA to not only promote manufacturing projects but also services sector. Okay, and in 2011, MEIDA was restructured and rebranded, and we have a new name. So the industrial was changed to investment, which this has given us a broader scope to promote services sector. And what is the important thing under this rebranding is MEIDA was given empowerment, where a national committee on investments was established in MEIDA. And this committee meets every week and comprising members, senior representatives from Ministry of Finance, Inland Revenue Board, Economic Planning Unit, and various agencies and ministries, which deliberate applications of incentives by investors and make decision in real time. So we can approve the projects within 1 or 2 days after the application or projects are discussed in the meeting. So this will enable MEIDA in a faster decision-making process. Okay, this is our main role. We do promotion work where we organize trade and investment missions to overseas to promote FDI. We also organize domestic seminars. We update the investors on the government facilities, incentives, and also policies, the current policies. And we also evaluate application for manufacturing license, tax incentive, expatriate post, and also import duty exemption. We do also planning work where we formulate new strategies, new measures, and we recommend it to the government to improve the business environment in Malaysia. And we also do follow-up and monitoring where we handhold investors to ensure that they can implement their project without any problem. So we have 22 overseas centers worldwide and 12 state offices in Malaysia. Okay, this is one of our investment promotion strategy. Now we are focusing on quality investments. These are some of the indicators of quality investments. You can see that we are focusing on high-tech and knowledge in a project will involve high-value-added products and give impacts to domestic industries. And you can see that one of the indicator is green and clean technology. Okay, why we are focusing on quality investment? Because we want to ensure that Malaysia can achieve high-income country by 2020. And currently, we don't consider a project which involve labor-intensive or low-value-added. Okay, this is another approach that we use to attract investment. Ecosystem approach. What we mean by ecosystem approach is we will identify what are the gaps within the value chain of the industry clusters, and we promote that industry and to fill the gaps. So by strengthening our local supporting industries, strengthening our infra and also talent and complete ecosystem, the risk of investments in Malaysia will be reduced. In general, these are the manufacturing sector which we are promoting. advanced electronics, specialty chemicals, aerospace, machinery equipment, food technology, biotech, advanced material, medical device, transport, and also pharmaceuticals. And these are the examples of services sector. And you can see that environmental management is one of the targeted sector. Okay, we also practice business-friendly policies, where foreigners are allowed to hold 100% equity ownership in the manufacturing and selected services sector. Actually, the government has announced liberalization of equity policies for manufacturing sector in 1998. And for services sector, there are about 45 services sector which liberalized by the government since 2009 and second stage in 2011. Okay, the list of selected services sector, you can refer to MEIDA's website, and some of the examples is like hospitality, private healthcare, and R&D, testing, and others. And then we have no restrictions also for foreign companies who want to bring back their income to their country. And for expatriate posts, foreign companies who want to bring their expatriate posts in the project can be considered based on current policies and guidelines. Because some of the foreign companies, they want to bring key posts to protect their business interests in the company, and also technical posts, to allow transfer of technology. Okay, this is one of the services provided by MEIDA, handholding activities, where if company which the project was approved in MEIDA and they have problems in getting necessary approvals, for example, from land office, bomber, from state government, DOE, we will assist and coordinate for companies to meet these relevant agencies to ensure that they can implement the project without any problems. So MEIDA state directors are stationed at the respective states to handhold these investors and assist them in getting all the approvals required. Okay, this is a guideline on manufacturing license. So under the Industrial Coordination Act, all manufacturing companies which has reached this threshold is required to apply for manufacturing license. So the criteria that we use is based on shareholders fund, at least 2.5 million, or employing 75 or more full-time employees. So this application will be processed by MEIDA and approved by our licensing officer in MEIDA. Okay, this is some of major incentives that offered by the government. We have pioneer status, which is income tax exemption, ranging from 70% to 100% for a period of 5 to 10 years. And actually, pioneer status is good for a company which can generate profit within the first to 10 years of operation. As if the company have high capital investment, it's better for them to apply for investment tax allowance or ITA. And we give allowance 60% to 100% on capital expenditure for 5 years. And this allowance can be used to offset again the company's income. And we also encourage companies to reinvest in the project after the expiry date of the incentive period. And what we give is 60% on qualifying capital expenditure incurred for a period of 15 years. So the reinvestment normally involve expansion project, diversification, upgrading, modernization. And then we also facilitate investors in terms of giving import duty and sales tax exemption for raw materials and component, and machinery which are directly used in the process. So this is the area that we identify related to green. Okay, this product is under the promoted activities in the Act, Promotion of Investment Act, and also Income Tax Act. So I will go one by one on the areas. The first one is renewable energy, or RE. Okay, this incentive actually was announced by the government since budget 2001. And the government continue to extend and provide the incentive to further develop RE industry in Malaysia. So what we give is 100% exemption for a period of 10 years. Or the company can also choose for ITA, which is 100% for a period of 5 years, offset against its 100% of income. So the criteria that we use normally is the company is required to implement the project within a year from the date of approval of the incentive. But this condition is imposed because we want to ensure that company implement the project faster. But if, let's say that the company have problems in implementing the project within a year, they can come to MEIDA to get the extension with justifications. And the company should also own the RE equipment. Okay, this is type of renewable energy: electricity, steam, chilled water, and heat. And RE sources can be considered is biomass, biogas, mini hydropower, and also solar power. Okay, the second area for green industry is energy efficiency incentive. There are two types of applicants that are eligible for this incentive. Number one is the service provider, and number two is the company which incur a capital expenditure for conserving energy for their own use. For number one, the company can, for service provider, they can get pioneer status for 10 years, or ITA, 100% for 5 years against 100% of income. And what is the important thing for these incentives is the service provider must have contract with the client, and the contract must specify the agreed sharing of EE savings within a certain period. Okay, what are the services covered under EE incentives is consultancy and advisory services, energy audit, training, energy management services, and also feasibility studies. Company who undertake project management, who involve in design and tendering, procurement, supervision and commissioning of the project can also be considered for this incentive. Okay, some of the companies, they don't want to appoint service provider, so they want to buy their own, energy efficiency equipment. So this company can also be considered for tax incentive, ITA of 100% for a period of 5 years against 100% of income. Okay, this is another area for in green technology, waste recycling. These activities will apply to all industries, for all type of waste, metal, chemical, textile, any, because we want to encourage waste recycling activity. So incentive, we give normal pioneer status, 70% for 5 years, or ITA, 60% for a period of 5 years. And the main condition that we impose is the company is not allowed to import waste. Okay, for green transport, okay, we offer customized incentive for company which assembly or manufacture energy efficient vehicles, EEVs, and we can offer up to 10 years based on merit of each case. Why we call this as customized incentive? Because this incentive is given under the Income Tax Act, where we can also offer non-fiscal incentives such as R&D and training grant. But for this application, we have to evaluate, very thoroughly to see what are the impact or benefits of the projects to the economy. Okay, for the manufacture of selected critical components to support EEV, also we can consider for customized incentives up to 5 years. Okay, for building technology, a company which produce panels, boards, tiles, we call it as green building materials, can also apply for pioneer status, 70% for 5 years, or ITA, 60% for 5 years. And normally when we evaluate the application, we look at the value added of the products and management, technical and supervisory staff in the project. Okay, for E&E products, here we have solar cells, solar panel, rechargeable batteries, fuel cells, and also energy saving lighting like LED and other certain electrical products. Same incentive that we give, pioneer status and ITA. This normal incentive, and the criteria we use is value added and management technical and supervisory index. Okay, for biomass, we have two categories. One is general for all type of agricultural waste. Maybe you have like paddy husk, resource from rubber. So you want to produce value-added product from this agricultural waste. For example, biofertilizer, plywood, and biodegradable packaging products. So we can also offer pioneer status, 70% for 5 years, or ITA, 60% for 5 years. So this one also, same criteria, value added and MTS. This is another area of agricultural waste, but we focus on all palm biomass. Okay, for these incentives, it is better than the earlier one because we want company to produce high value-added products such as pellets and briquettes. And when we evaluate, we will look also at the complexity of the manufacturing process involved. Okay, we give 100% for 10 years, or ITA 100% for 5 years against 100% of statutory income. Okay, we have another area, R&D. Actually, R&D incentives apply to all industries and not limited to green technology. We want to encourage company, to involve in, in-house R&D. Means that they have R&D unit in their division to support their operations. We can give, whatever expenditure that incurred for the R&D equipment can be considered for 50% allowance within a 10 years period and again 70% of income. The second category, R&D company, means that company which offer services to a related and non-related company. So they can get ITA 100% for a period of 10 years against 70% of income. And for the contract R&D company, means that the company only offers services to non-related company. And they can choose either pioneer status or ITA. Normally, the criteria of these incentives is different, but we look at the income generated from the R&D activities and the number of, R&D staff involved. Okay, commercialization of R&D findings, and we want to encourage R&D findings by approved research institutions like MEIDA, MPOB, FRIM, and also public universities. Okay, previously, these incentives is only focused on resource-based industry. So if the company have new product technology in the area of agriculture, oil palm, wood, and other resource-based industry, we give incentives. But in budget 2013, government has extended this incentive to cover non-resource based to encourage more commercialization activity in the country. So the important thing is there must be an agreement between the company and the company which undertake the commercialization and the approved public research and universities. So what we can offer, there are two types, company which invest in the subsidiary who commercialize the activity can be considered for tax deduction. So the tax deduction is equivalent to the amount of investment made in the subsidiary company. And this incentive is given to company which majority or 70% owned by Malaysian. And that company also must own at least 70% equity in the subsidiary company. Else, for the subsidiary company, maybe they don't have any investing company, they can also apply for pioneer status because they are the one who do the commercialization activity. And incentive we offer is 100% for 10 years. And the company must also own 70% by Malaysian. Okay, in budget 2014, the government has announced a new incentive to encourage the adoption and utilization of green technology in the process. So the government will also provide investment tax allowance for the purchase of green technology equipment and income tax exemption on the use of green technology services and systems. And for your information, currently the Ministry of Finance and Inland Revenue Board finalizing the exemption order of these incentives. and they will publish it once gazetted. Okay, if you have any problem, you can contact me or my colleagues here. This is from Clean Tech Division. Okay, with that, I am in my presentation. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Fauzatul from Path Green Energy. We are service provider for renewable energy and also environment. So my question is, during the budget of 2014, there is also a green investment tax allowance that is actually, I think, quite different from the incentives from MEIDA. How does it coincide with these incentives?
Okay, for your information, the incentives that I mentioned just now is provided under the Promotion of Investment Act 1986, which is the main act for MEIDA to promote investment. But incentives that you mentioned just now is GITA, I call it GITA, is a new incentives to encourage adoption or utilization of green technology industry. For us, we encourage not only utilization but production of green products itself. You see, like solar, LED is green products, is involved in manufacturing activity. But for GITA, they look at the utilization. Means that if you use green technology equipment, then they can consider tax incentive.